1098-765-4321. Want to make sure we're connected to our Facebook Live, which is going to be Howard Sanders, uppercase I, uppercase I. Also on the YouTube channel, it's going to be H-Sanders with the number 2. You're connected to Community Connections Conversation. And I want you guys to know that if you're hearing my voice and seeing my face, hopefully you've given God his due today, because he allowed us to be favored so that we could serve others. You can come on in, superhero. So, hey, let's make sure that we connected, and then I'll bring our superhero right on in so we can get right into the guts of what we got going on in about 2-3 weeks, and all of you all need to have an impact in your life by participating. That's just a suggestion. I can't tell you what to do because my life is messed up. All right, so just hold tight for me.
Hey, 601. Unity, love, and
my spirit's a little messed up because I got caught up with somebody getting to the studio, so I want to flush this out. So Community Strong for Jackson MS. I got Black Golded and Matt. And also I've got Moving Southern Style, Snow, the producer with no W from Mississippi.
Reach one, teach one, community strong. Hey, we got something to say. Hey, we got something to say. Hey, better get off the couch. Reach one, teach one, community strong.
Do you know Byron Broom?
Welcome to the show. We about to drop some knowledge, not the message.
We did this in like 24 hours.
Superheroes, conversations about the real. They try to keep you clean, but let's express how you feel. Good spirits, good about no hatred or no hate. We all in the same, they gon' change a better name. The prophet of the truth, initials POT. No price tag on this knowledge, you can get it for the free. Reach one, teach one, the old and the young. We got it by the spirits with the power of the tongue. I'm on the inside looking at
really quiets my spirit when I hear this song here. There's no cuss words in it.
Call them friends. You pursue what you can do is show love, count your blessings. Life is hard, but it's fair, and it comes with some lessons. Mental power for an hour, with some knowledge come to college. Important people.
Oh, we connected, guys. Let me go on and get this thing started.
Hey, we got something.
Hey, we got something to say.
Hey, we got something to say. Hey, better get off the couch. Reach one, teach one, community strong. Hey, we got something to say. Hey, we got something to say.
Let me go and hit you guys in the head with this right quick. Community conversation, or community connections conversation with community strong. Next one's up. Reach out to us at 601-317-8138. You already know how to follow us. Thank you all so much for growing the page. Community Strong for Jackson MS. Superhero, did you need I got another stand. You good? Okay. All right. Social media. You already know how to find us on Facebook, also on YouTube. Focus is knowing community now. People, persons, individuals, events, opportunities, organizations, agencies, businesses, movements. Family, community is family, church, school, university, memories, purpose, inform, educate, inspire, stimulate, engage through sharing and conversation, reflecting genuine love for community, emphasizing joy, fun, experiences, living life on life terms, no shaming, no blaming, energy, passion, compassion, empathy, sympathy, failure, success, lifting, steadfastness. Get up off the couch and do some work. And they say, why you got so many? Because hopefully at least one will fit your platform. Just one. All you need is just one of those to continue to move forward. So let me move right on into what we got going on today. All right. That was too fast. Let me slow roll in. That was too fast. Hold on. Here we go. All right, well, she's already in here. Superhero, happy Thursday to you. Would you please let the listening audience and the viewing audience know who I have on the couch this evening?
I am CARLYN HICKS. I'm Hinds County Court Judge. I represent Subdistrict 1. I preside over our youth court here in Hinds County.
Wow. At the end of the day, you have any cases today?
I did. I had trials today.
How do you defrag yourself moving from the courtroom into your chambers, taking off your gear, coming out of that role, going to the vehicle? Mm-hmm. What's going on between leaving the building and getting to the car?
Realistically,
Yes, ma'am.
probably a couple of FaceTime calls from my daughter.
Wow.
And a call from my husband. And then, for me, with youth court, it's a 24/7 job.
Okay.
Once you take that robe off and you come off the bench, the work doesn't end there. I'm always on call, as I say. You see, I have 2 phones here. If law enforcement needs to reach me, they call me. If Child Protection Services needs to reach me, they can call me. And so the work never really ends.
Okay.
Because you can't predict when a child is going to be abused or neglected. And you can't predict, for the most part, when a young person may engage in problematic behaviors, which could be seen as delinquent behaviors.
So it's never, and you've been doing this for how many years, Judge?
5 years as of July 9th.
Are you any more used to it now than you were when you first started?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You get into a rhythm or a cadence. You have to, of course, prioritize self-care. And so I spend some time working on that just to make sure that I compartmentalize what I can, that I don't take the burdens into my own household, and I try to be as whole as I can for my family. They say you give 90% to your job and then 10% at home.
Okay.
But I try to give 100% everywhere I am.
Well, I don't believe little Miss Hicks gonna let you come up short.
Not at all.
Hey,
Not
your
at
mini
all.
me is not gonna let you come up short.
You met her.
I sure have. I thought she was coming through the door.
She's actually enjoying the sights and sounds and culture of Houston this week. So,
Man, Houston need to look out. Hopefully they are ready. You said something about self-care, and I kind of trolled your Facebook. 4 days ago, going back to the gym after months off, and the gym girlies give the air fist bump.
yes,
And you want to shout them out?
absolutely. One of the things about a journey of wellness and you're trying to go to the gym, if the gym is not a place that you're familiar with, it can be very intimidating.
Okay.
Anything new is always intimidating, right?
Right.
Most of the time, everybody in the gym is there because they're trying to better themselves.
Right.
And you have to get out of your own way. You think everybody's looking at you. You think everybody's judging you. And they're literally trying to catch their breath and count their next rep.
Right.
And so when you realize that, it takes the sting away, you know?
Okay.
Nobody's checking for you. But when you have made certain progress, you start to develop gym bros and gym girlies, right?
Okay.
Because we get into a habit of seeing each other, when you're coming to the gym. And so you fist bump the folks you're used to seeing, and you do some extra sets here or there. You kind of just learn the patterns or the schedules of your gym bros and
Right.
your gym girlies. Well, I have not been in the gym in like 2.5, 3 months, probably
Okay.
more like 3 months.
Okay.
Returning back to the gym, I knew, where I left would not be where I could start, and I was struggling. I was struggling. I'm some extra pounds heavier.
Right.
But the gym girlies in the room were like, "Hey, I see you. I'm glad to have you back."
Right.
It was a no judgment zone, truly.
Okay.
And we were glad to be welcomed with friendly eyes.
Okay.
And the invisible fist bump.
I
So
want
I'm
to
back.
piggyback off of that. I've been out for 2 years. I messed around. I had a hernia surgery, and my doctor said, "Look, let me share something with you. You don't get somewhere and sit down because I know you have a difficulty sitting down. The second time you come in is going to be a little bit more challenging the first time."
Right.
So it really spooked me. So I've 3 o'clock, by 4:30, I'm in, and it has really been a blessing. Now I'm one of those mirror trolls. I'm looking around. I'm looking at the big arm guys. I'm looking at the 50 pounds. And I'm over there on the Stairmaster and just the elliptical. Yeah, but I am
cardio.
starting to get more into the routine. I met a gentleman about 2 months ago at Jeeping on the Coast. Well, just everything was defined. Everything was right. He's putting in the work. And I said, "Do you think if I drink one of these energy drinks that you guys are providing to the community that I'll look like that?" He said, "No." And he said, the heaviest weight in the building is opening the door.
That's right.
The
Absolutely.
heaviest weight in the building is walking through the door. So I want to encourage you all, and it goes back to what you said. I'm taking baby steps.
Right.
Baby steps. You can't go in there and I can't go in there and lift 50. Can't go in there and run the treadmill. Just do what I can do and stay out of the mirror.
Just show up.
Just show up.
If you show up, that's half the battle.
You also put a name in here, Carl McGee. Talk that talk now, sir. You want to chime in on that?
So that's my brother, actually. He
Your
has
real
the
brother?
same, yeah.
Okay.
He has the same name as my father. He's a junior. And I saw him, my sister and I went to visit our other brother. This was around 4th of July, and my brother is deaf.
Okay.
And so he was signing to me, and he said, "Hey, I'm missing your pictures. You know, when you would post your pictures of your progress in the gym. Where my pictures at?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't have it right now. I got to do some work." He said, "You got to get back in the gym."
Right.
And so that was me tagging him saying, "Hey, thanks for the push. You know, thank you for pushing me because I fell off, but I'm back."
Okay. You said we, what is this? WHEWWW? Say that for me.
Woo.
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 I'm back. Not like I left, but I'm here.
That's right.
So 2/3, 3/4 of it is getting back out and getting back in. All right. Next, I thought I was going to do the accolades last, some of your travels, but since we jump right into the self-care, I'm going to go ahead and knock this out, and then we're going to get into the event that's coming up. Certificate of completion. Certificate of completion. Honorable CARLYN. I've been saying it with the CARLYN Hicks. And you've been so kind to me.
That's all right.
CARLYN Hicks. Courting Judicial Excellence, a Juvenile Justice Training Institute, Anaheim, California, June 23rd through 27, 2025. I should have got your permission. I'm not putting your business out there.
You're fine.
What does this entail, and how does it impact our community, the children, and the families in the city of Jackson and Hinds County?
So that was done by the National Council of Family and Juvenile Court Judges. It is kind of the gold standard or the standard bearer for training and practice as it relates to judges who handle family court matters and juvenile court matters. This was an inaugural institute for them for juvenile justice excellence, and you had to apply to participate. I was selected. It was a week-long training, and we learned from some of the best in the fields of study and expertise who were presenting on various topics related to juvenile justice, youth justice. How do we build ecosystems of care for young people? How can judges improve what they do on the bench? Considerations we need to make in the courtroom design, our dockets, and just thinking about doing less harm to families and children who we serve, and not thinking in terms of, let's just, go through court, get this case done, but do these children really understand these big words, or do we need to break it down for them? These families are intimidated and they're scared. Do they really understand this legal jargon that we're saying, or can we speak differently? Understanding adolescent brain development, understanding various socioeconomic dynamics, just meeting science and the law and coupling that with changing how we handle court cases as judges. It was a week-long training. And I'm very grateful for it. It confirmed some of the things that we're already implementing in our court. And it also gave me some ideas on some things that we needed to probably reconsider. One of the things I did immediately was limit the number of people in the courtroom.
Wow.
We looked at the fact that in Hinds County Youth Court in particular, we would have, DYS counselors, mental health providers.
Oh, wait, slow down. You say D?
Division of Youth Services counselors.
Okay.
We would have all the Division of Youth Services counselors in the courtroom. We would have, all of our mental health providers in the courtroom, our legal officers in the courtroom, and then the families and children. And that's a lot of people.
That could be very overwhelming.
Overwhelming and intimidating as well.
Loud. Not so much vocal-wise, but just presence-wise.
Right.
Okay.
And
I know you don't play with all that extra chatter going on.
We don't. We don't.
All right.
And so what we did, I would have this practice where I would seal the courtroom if there were some things that needed to be addressed that the child or the family may not have wanted to have others to be present for. And youth court is confidential, so it's not like it's open court. But, just thinking about what it looks like to look out in that gallery and see, 6, 7, 8 people, even if these are people who will represent a support system for you, but in your initial encounters with the court, that could be intimidating. And so those are some of the things that we immediately changed based on that training. And then a lot of the other things I learned were really, really good. And so we put a plan of action in place to implement some other things that you'll see. Well, you may not see them. Because
I'm looking forward to my first time,
but we're putting some things into motion, and I'm excited about it.
When you attend these opportunities to become informed, network, educated, do you ever feel like, man, here's another meeting I've got to go to, or here's another training?
So I'm very strategic about what meetings I attend,
okay,
and what trainings I attend, what conferences I attend. I want to make sure that my time is best used. Our docket is a daily docket at Hinds County Youth Court. We have court every day.
Okay.
And so a day for me to not be on the bench, it had better be worth, the medal.
That's you are attached to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so, we have to make provisions in those instances. And so I'm a working judge. I'm always on the bench. But when I do take some time to break away for trainings, it has to be something that's meaningful, intentional, and that can come into fruition and come into practice in our court.
Okay. I'm going to pivot now to Chat and Chew with Judge CARLYN HICKS. We are excited for our upcoming evening of Conversation and Connection. This is already passed with Judge HICKS and our youth. And this was on July the 17th. Can you give us a little insight what Chat and
that's not the 17th.
Oh, the 17th? What?
That was just a graphic. We actually had on the 11th of July.
Okay. And what is Chat and Chew, and what does it entail?
So
before you go there, this is a youth engagement initiative of Judge HICKS, Hinds County Court Judge, Subdistrict 1. What does that look like?
It actually was one of the most rewarding conversations I've had in a while.
Okay.
And I lunch meet with a lot of folks, okay? A lot of folks.
This didn't include grown folks, did it?
It did not.
Okay.
But I met with some 12 and 13-year-olds.
Wow. Nice.
For dinner. And it was an opportunity for me to share with them about youth court, share with them about our court systems, share with them about the life of a judge, and then to hear from them, from young people, what their experiences are in school and in community, and what are some things that we could do as a court system to be more responsive to them and their peers. And then what could we do, just as parents, and how they see us as caretakers and nurturers. These young people were so in tune with their own needs. We had young people from the county, as we call it. We had young people from Jackson. We had young people from charter schools, middle schools here in JPS, and from the county as well. We had public school, private school, and they all shared the same experiences, believe it or not, and the same perspectives for the most part. It was a 12-year-old young lady who probably had the most insightful things to share about why young people may navigate criminal elements and find themselves gravitating towards criminal decision-making. And it really put some things on my mind, Howard.
Now, was she county or was she local?
She was local.
Okay, from the Jackson Metropolitan? Okay, continue.
And one of the young people had actually, unbeknownst to me at the time, had completed one of the summer camps. I think he did the Warriors program with the Sheriff's Department. And so he remembered coming and taking a tour of the court.
Okay.
And so he was able to share with the other young people who were there eating with us what it was like to see the court and what he thought it looked like. And, they were all ears about that. But Chat and Chew is an opportunity for me to engage directly with young people, to hear from them, to share with them what our court does, to do some awareness work with them. But then they almost are kind of like a sounding board or a feedback loop for me as to what we can do to better serve them and what are some things that we need to be looking out for to be responsive to in community.
Now I have to ask, why the 12, 13-year-olds?
Well, we're doing all age groups.
It was all ages?
But we try to group like age
so
groups so that there is no, we don't want to put high schoolers with middle schoolers because the ideas would be different.
That's true.
Right? The outlook would be different. The maturity levels may be different. Their priorities and perspectives will be different. And so we try to lump the young people together with their age group, but we wanted to make sure we had some diversification of that in that representation. So that's why we have public school, private school, charter school, and the like, so that we covered our bases there. City, county, rural area, inner city Jackson. But we want to keep the age groups themselves tight. So the next Chat and Chew group will be an older group of kids.
Okay.
We're just going to keep going up.
And how are the nominations for which children are going to be participating, or which scholars, or which next one's up?
So it's actually open nomination. We push out the form. Parents can nominate their children. Grandparents can nominate their grandkids. Coaches, preachers, whomever. And then if they're selected, then we make contact with the parent or guardian and let them know that child has been nominated. And then we invite them to dinner with the court or dinner with the judge.
That's what I'm talking about. They say if we touch it, then we can learn it. And if we learn it, then that means we've touched it.
And if you can see it, you can be it.
Ooh-wee. Next up on your many things that you've been doing and involved in and engaged in, change a child's story.
Limitless.
The possibilities are limitless. Miss Mississippi Ann Lee Jolly and CASA, which stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates for Children. What exactly is that?
So for short, it's CASA is what we call it. CASA is an organization, it's a nonprofit organization of advocates who volunteer to be that consistent, constant representation and voice for children in youth court. When I arrived on the bench, CASA was not in Hinds County Youth Court. We established a charter here in Hinds County.
Hold on.
Okay.
Clapping. Oh man, they supposed to be clapping. They must be sleeping. Oh, guys, you just missed. They were clapping. So make like they were clapping. All right, go right. Golly, I got burned on that one. Go ahead. Okay. They out playing. Might get rid of it. Go right ahead.
We established a charter of CASA here in Hinds County because we recognize that there's lots of turnover with CPS. That's a reality, and we had an opportunity for advocates to kind of fill in the gap or stand in the gap for our young people to be that consistent, constant voice as their workers may change. The social workers who are assigned to those families may change from time to time, but that CASA volunteer remains the same. And this year, they're under new leadership, and so they were exploring other partnerships, and they were able to partner with Miss Mississippi to reach out to the court and ask how they might be able to assist us. They were very, very generous with their support. Miss Mississippi actually is a citizen by way of the Ukraine.
Oh, yeah?
She was in an orphanage. She grew up in an orphanage there. She came to the U.S. when she was 12 years old.
Wow.
She was adopted by Mississippians in Clinton, Mississippi. And now she's Miss Mississippi. And so for her,
what a story.
Her platform is limitless. Possibilities are limitless when children have love and support and opportunities. And she wanted to give some of that same love, support, and opportunities to our young people and their families in Hinds County Youth Court.
Also, generous partners include Parkway Baptist Church, Entergy Jackson, CASA of Hinds County Advocates, and Ergon Foundation. Anything you want to say on those? Or
they were so incredible. They redid the children's room that we have there.
I saw the pictures.
We have a therapeutic design children's waiting area. Once children come into court, the guardian ad litem can meet with them in the room as well. And they redid that area. They provided us with books and toys. and just really spruced up the place,
Okay,
if we could
okay.
say. And we were very grateful to them for the toys and the supplies. We have busy books and busy bags. We have art supplies. We've got toys, you name it, for our young people when they come to court.
I would be remiss if I didn't speak on the donation of Theodore, the little bear with big feelings, written by Miss Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Also, presentation of using the emotion wheel to help children express themselves in difficult situations like court hearings, family team meetings, and removals.
Yes.
Hopefully we can get a grown folks wheel. And we did the packaging of the age-appropriate busy bags for children waiting in court.
Mm-hmm.
And activities included a refresh of the children's playroom and waiting areas with new books, toys, and art supplies for children waiting for their case to be heard. So you're bringing them down so that they can breathe.
Yeah. Well, not just breathe, but when the central nervous system feels safe, then you can receive and process information. If the central nervous system is not safe, then you cannot receive and process information. And so it's like a child who's afraid or scared, and you're saying, "Do you understand?" They're not hearing a thing you're saying because they can't process that. That emotions wheel is actually, it's not just for children, it's adults too. It's everybody. It's how we process things. But the book was written by Miss Mississippi, and she did it because she felt as though that was something that helped her express herself to her adoptive family. Remember, she came here at the age of 12. She couldn't speak English when she arrived here. Russian was her native language. And so her adoptive family worked very intentionally to help her name the emotions and express what was going on with her, so that they could better meet her needs. And so that's what Theodore is all about.
Okay. Next, we got something coming up this Sunday, July the 20th. Sign up now for the Lemonade Stand Extravaganza.
Yes.
That the kids shine and show off their entrepreneur spirit. This is going to be Sunday, July 20th, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. This is for all my people in Jackson that say we don't have anything to do.
There's so many things to do this weekend.
We don't have anything to do. So this is going to be Sunday, July the 20th, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., 715 West McDowell Road. Best Lemonade Stand Contest, Best Tasting Lemonade Challenge, Entrepreneur Booths for Kids, Music, Fun, Family Vibes, Build Your Kid a Stand, Let Them Set Up, Watch Them Shine. Spots limited, sign up now. They probably already got a full.
I think they do.
Okay.
So that's Kansas Gray with Can I Live. Can I Live is one of our partners to the court and the work that we do. They provide mentorship services to our young people. They provide barber academy support to our young people who want to be barbers. They provide lash classes. They've got a lash class coming up for our young ladies. Just a phenomenal group of guys and ladies as well. They're in the South Jackson area who are invested in Jackson and invested in our young people. The entrepreneurial push of the Lemonade Stand Contest, I've had the privilege of going, and let me just say, these young people, they pull out all the stops. One young lady last year, she had her father on a griddle. He was giving away free tacos, street tacos, with her purchase of, when you purchase your lemonade from her. Now, that lemonade was like $5,
right?
Okay?
But you got a taco.
But you got free taco.
You got a taco to go with it.
And so they really did have a good time. But it was a wonderful thing to see, and it helps teach them at a young age that you can take something that is an idea,
right,
and turn it into something that could be profitable. It teaches them about money management, project management, tasks and goals, and just being responsible. And so they have a lot of good times.
So I'm challenging community that we want to show up and drink up as much lemonade as we possibly can, and hopefully get a taco out the deal. But that's going to be Sunday, July 20th, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., 715 West McDowell Road. I would be remiss on the Change a Child story, the CASA. For more contact, Samantha Kalar, K-A-L-A-H-A-R.
Kalar, yes.
Kalar, S. And that's going to be 601-832-8970. How do we become connected if we want to volunteer and join the CASA movement?
Great question. So to become a CASA, you have to be trained. There are so many hours you have to do in order to be trained as a CASA advocate, and then you have to have so many hours of court observation with the Hinds County Youth Court. After that, you get sworn in by yours truly, and then you get assigned.
Who is yours truly?
Myself.
All right.
and then you get assigned your case, and then you get started.
Wow. So is that the picture I see with about 5 or 6? Okay. Okay. So I'm challenging my men. Mostly I see a lot of ladies.
We only have, I think, one guy who's been certified as a CASA advocate, and we do have 2 more on Tuesday who will be sworn in.
Okay. And the program is the program is what, a month, 2 months, 3 months?
Oh, no.
Okay.
So the life of a youth court case can be anywhere from 15 to 22 months.
Okay. Okay. So we don't want to put up a barrier because this is a life-changing opportunity.
Right.
Okay. We tend to look at time and say, oh, man, that's too much. No, it's a lifetime investment.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. What we got next? Moving slowly but surely. All right. We got the lemonade out the way. All right. And I got to get these gentlemen on the couch.
Okay.
Strong Arms of Mississippi is now accepting referrals for our Rankin program and Jackson program. Next cohort to start the end of July. Let us know if we can help your teenage boys who may be headed down the wrong path.
Yes.
God bless. And this was actually
Benny.
Benny Ivy. Would you give us a little insight to the next cohort? Yes, ma'am.
So Strong Arms, they have a, I think it's a 10 to 12 week cohort each time. They should be graduating their summer cohort now and getting started with the next cohort. So it'll go another about 10 to 12 weeks. We refer our young people to them as one of our diversion partners. And then they also take referrals from parents or other community members as well. So it's not just limited to youth court participants, but community youth who may be in need of more structured mentorship programming. And it's a credible messenger program, and so there's a different type of curriculum there. They are credible messengers, and they're looking for people to sign up.
And the age range is from what to what?
Typically about 13 to 17.
Okay.
I think they might have taken a 12-year-old here or there, but most of the time it's about 13 to 17.
And for those of us that's not familiar with the term diversion.
So diversion is an effort to provide services and resources to help meet the needs of that young person so that they are no longer engaging with the court system, or they don't engage with the court system to begin with. So you have different levels or tiers of diversion. Diversion starts in community, with the neighbor, the nosy neighbor saying, hey, son, don't break in that car.
Right.
I saw you over there. You need money? Come over here and cut some grass with me.
Right.
That's diversion.
Okay. Okay.
It starts with law enforcement encountering that young person and saying, hey, I've seen you hang with the wrong types of folks. That's not the kind of folks you want to hang with. You need to go home.
Right.
That's diversion.
Okay.
And then when it gets to the court level, the court has had a detention hearing with that young person, made an assessment of their threat level, and has determined that they could benefit from the services of one of our providers. We partner with Living with Purpose, Strong Arms, Briarwood Arts Center, Can I Live? And based on whatever that child's needs are, we assign them to those programs for those services.
Okay. If you want to connect with Benny Ivy, he's on Facebook, and then also Strong Arms of Mississippi. That's STRONGARMS of MS, and all that's uppercase MS. All right. You need to take a drink of water. You good?
I'm good.
All right. Okay. I got 2 of these little mind foods that I saw. I don't know if this one was on your page. Yeah, I think I pulled these off of your page. I was really trolling.
Look, you really were trolling
I tapped into some children, parent stuff that we're gonna get into when you get ready to leave. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here we go. If your circle.
Come on now.
All right, let me finish. if your circle, I was trying to get you out there before you took a sip, but we doing it big time. If your circle doesn't challenge you to grow, do better, and be better, you're in a box, not a circle.
Hello.
Give me some reflection on that.
I think it speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. You know, sometimes we think the folks who are closest to us have our best interests at heart.
Wow. That's
right?
truth.
Sometimes we think people who are in close proximity to us want to see us be successful just because they're around us. Sometimes, however, wisdom would tell us, or wisdom would show that some folks, Howard, are only cheering for you as long as they can turn around and cheer for you.
Wait. Hit that one more time for me, Coach.
Let me back it up. As long as I can turn around and cheer for you because you're behind me,
wow,
I'm going to cheer for you. But
that's
the moment you get beside me, or you may even get in front of me, the cheers start to silence, right? And so if your circle is not pushing you to be better, then you probably don't have a circle. You got a box.
You got a square.
Not a square.
It's a box. And when you
your
say
box
box,
might have a lid on it.
Ooh.
Right?
Okay.
Because I want to keep you right here. I don't want you to do better. I don't want you to do more. And what inspired that post, you know, I work with folks who are the experts in their experiences, right? And sometimes these guys get all down. It's like, oh, man, you know, when I was doing wrong, everybody was with me. Now that I'm doing right, everybody's against me, you know. And I have to always encourage these guys and say, look, you're doing the right thing. Keep your feet on the right side of the fence.
Next right thing.
You know, the folks who are for you are for you.
Right.
You know, the folks who are wanting to always remind you of who you used to be when who you used to be is not a good thing, then those folks are not really for you. They want to keep you in a box.
All right. So you guys
You've been strolling.
Look out now. Be mindful of a box and a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Be mindful of a box and a circle. Now, this one here really touched me.
Okay. I'm almost scared.
You know you're putting that knowledge out there. You putting some of that get right. I want you all to know that now when you go through Judge Hicks' Facebook, be ready to read and be ready to engage and be ready to look at yourself in the mirror. Here we go. Teaching people how to regulate their emotions is crime prevention.
Mm-hmm.
It's addiction prevention.
Mm-hmm.
It's suicide prevention.
Mm-hmm.
It's generational healing.
Yes.
I'm going to stop right there and then I'll come back. Give me a little insight on that.
Oh, we could spend all day on that.
All right. Well,
think about it. When you think about young people who have lost their lives due to gun violence at the hands of other young people, even most recently, what was the conflict about? Well, so-and-so posted something on Instagram.
say it's not true.
And so-and-so said so-and-so about something, so-and-so. Somebody commented about XYZ. The conflicts are superficial, right? I'm upset because I don't know how to process this emotion that I have. And because I don't know how to process this emotion that I have, I resort to engaging in behaviors that are problematic. Well, when I do that, what happens, Howard? I make a split-second decision because my brain is not developed enough, right, for me to really appreciate the risks downstream. The right now tells me, oh, I got to do something drastic about this. If I had the emotional regulation to be able to push through that moment of intimidation or that moment of, you know, my ego being bruised, right? Or being embarrassed, then I could think more clearly. Emotional regulation is absolutely crime prevention, especially crimes that are interpersonal. You start an argument, Emotions getting high, flaring. Everybody is up here. But if somebody has the emotional maturity to say, hold on, wait a minute, let's dial this back.
Right.
Then you're preventing what could be a serious interaction.
That's true.
Right? If somebody takes a gun to resolve a conflict because they don't have the ability to communicate effectively what the issues are that are bothering them, then you have an issue. And so emotional regulation is absolutely crime prevention. You think about little boys, some of them may be told, boys don't cry. You got to be tough. You don't express your emotions. Boys don't do that. Boys don't do this. We're all human.
Right.
Human connection is just basic, right? We all desire to be in community. Like, we're communal people. And so you leave a young man alone with his thoughts to process on his own.
On his own.
You leave him with no one to trust with the issues and things that are plaguing him, because a man doesn't do that. And so what does he do? He might turn to self-medicating, self-sabotaging behaviors.
Right.
Because he's not been taught how to properly process what he's going through. Then you end up with addictive behaviors. You end up with suicidal behaviors for some. And so it all ties into the same thing. If we can teach children emotional regulation and adults emotional regulation, it can be a crime prevention tool.
Hopefully, not to put a whole lot of pressure on our education system, but we need to maybe look at the classroom setup as far as educational materials.
And the pedagogy.
We need to come to 2025, 2026, 27, and it looks like and come out of the 70s and the 80s.
Right.
So hopefully someone listening will be influenced enough that something to regulate emotions. That should be a required class from the time a child can read and write.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's let me go back. Teaching people how to regulate their emotions is crime prevention, it's addiction prevention, it's suicide prevention, it's generational healing. It's how we stop raising adults who explode, implode. What is implode? IMPLODE.
Explode from the inside out.
Or shut down at first sign of discomfort.
Right.
Emotional regulation is not just a soft skill. What is a soft skill, Judge?
Well, soft skills are the skills that you can't necessarily see. Like, let's say you were going on a job interview. Can you type proficiently? Can you use Excel spreadsheets? All those are hard skills. But the soft skills is, how do you talk to folks, right?
How do you take somebody talking to you? Okay.
how do you navigate just communication, right? Can you smile when people walk in the room and be welcoming to them? Can you show courtesy, to people? And so those soft skills matter.
Okay. Emotional regulation is not just a soft skill, it's survival. It's the foundation of a society where people can disagree without dehumanizing each other.
Yes.
Where accountability isn't seen as an attack.
Yes.
And where conflict doesn't always have to mean violence.
Right.
You want a better world? Start with emotional education. All right. I had to pull that one.
I see.
I had to pull that one. That was this morning at 4:30. I pulled that one.
What do you think about that?
I think that I'm working on being calm and being still. But I'm listening to this guy called Shang-Hing Lee, and he talks about waking up early in the morning and not being overrun by all the noise.
Yeah.
So when you termed it, you flipped that one on me. Ooh, you flipped that on. You taught me something just then. So the emotional regulation is key, and that's a word I'm going to start kind of moving forward and working on.
And you practice it, right? In our conversation we had prior to coming on tonight, you practiced it. No,
yes,
you really
ma'am.
did.
And you know what, Judge? I'm going to revisit that because at the end of the day, I got to make sure that if they broke in this house, they broke in that house, the conversation I had, I don't need to have any conflict because it could have varied, and I could tell that it was going there. When all I had to do was say, okay.
Well, not necessarily, right? But we can have a conversation and we can disagree.
Right.
It's just how do we navigate the disagreement?
Gotcha.
And that's what matters.
All right, I got one more. One more.
I'm scared.
Okay. Which one? Here we go. I'm gonna come back to that one at the end.
Okay.
Try one full day, and I always share with my my adults when I'm doing my mindset redirection a moment. Try one full day. Try one moment of speaking kindly, smiling when your children walk into the room, making eye contact, offering hugs and high fives freely, showing appreciation, avoiding any kind of criticism, saying yes when and wherever possible, and simply asking questions instead of issuing commands. I've got that real bad. Try it, just try, for one moment, one day, then come back and tell me how it went. I love to hear your stories. Any reflection on that one?
You know, what's interesting about that post, one of our young people in the chat and chew, when I asked the question, if you could tell your parents anything, anything that you want your parents to know, what would you tell them? And almost all of them, they said, understand that we go through things too.
No, they don't.
And so when we get home from school,
Right.
don't start yelling and screaming at us.
Right.
We need a minute too. And as I was thinking, you know, sometimes as parents and as adults, we've been dealing with the world, we've been dealing with work, we've been dealing with all these things. The ride home might have been work-related, or you might have been stressed because of traffic. And then we get home and immediately it's do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this,
That's
do
true.
this, do this. But our kids are human too, right? They never get an opportunity to decompress. They don't need a quiet moment too, without us yelling and screaming. And I'm not condemning anyone, but
Right.
just to speak to the post, you know, what if we just scale back just for a moment, and instead of filling in the space and filling in the blanks, let's just ask questions.
Right.
Right? And just sit there with the answer. Instead of saying not right now, let's really be intentional and listen and say, well, let's think about how we can do that, right? Or when we can do that. And I think it would make a huge difference. And I preach to myself too. I told my daughter that she's going to go to New York. Oh, yeah, I'll take her to New York. And my daughter hadn't forgotten that. And she's like, Mom, you got to take me to New York. And my husband's like, well, you know, I took her to Disneyland.
Right.
Well, I took her to Disney World.
Right.
You got to take her to New York. And he reminds her, he's like, your mama said she's going to take you to New York. She's still going to take you to New York. But I say all that to say, you know, we have to be intentional as adults too, to slow and to pause and reflect and say yes.
Right.
Our children are people. They're not many reflections of us. They're not mirrors of us. Now, they may mirror us.
Right. Oh, that's deep.
But they're not mirrors of us.
Right. They may
Right.
mirror us,
Right.
but they're not mirrors of us.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So parents, adults, guardians, uncles, nieces, grown folks, brothers and sisters, let's make sure that we decompress, moving from today's activities to home activities.
Right.
Let's just practice that. All right, we got an impactful event coming up on August the 2nd on a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It does require, it was full. And they've added, and I'm sure that those 50 seats that were available probably have vanished. But this is going to be the Youth Justice Summit, Hinds County Children's Coalition. They're going to have power panels. What is a power panel?
So it's a fancy way of saying a panel discussion with people who have incredible resumes.
Okay.
And when I say incredible resumes, I'm talking about in terms of justice issues, youth justice, youth organizing. These people are the creme de la creme in that space. The theme for the summit is power, policies, and practice.
Say that again, Judge.
Power, policies, and practice.
Okay.
Youth power, policies that impact youth, and promising practices around youth justice. The panel is going to consist of some folks who are young, system impacted, some folks who have had close proximity to individuals who have been system impacted, some folks who have done some remarkable things in other jurisdictions. We are not, for this summit, kind of, rinsing and repeating, if you will.
Right.
You know how folks kind of rise to the top and you go certain places. If it's a certain topic, you're used to seeing the same people speak over and over and over and over.
I haven't seen the same batch with you.
You haven't.
I haven't seen the same batch. Your reach is reach. You reach. When you reach, you reaching.
I try, you know.
No, that's conviction and intention. Yeah.
I got good friends in all places, and I'm very fortunate for those connections. But we got some folks coming in from Tennessee. We got folks coming in from Chicago, folks coming in from New York. I'm so excited about it. What I love most about it, though, Howard, is that this summit is powered by young people.
Okay.
And what do I mean by that? I'm sitting across from a room of 16, 15, 17, and 18 and 19-year-olds, and they're telling me what they want to see. They're telling me what it should look like. They're telling me what they're going to do. And to see it come into fruition, I have never been a part of a planning committee where the entire conference has been planned via text message.
Say what?
Literally.
2025.
This is new things, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, we need to meet, and we need a monthly meeting, and then we need a bi-weekly meeting, and then we need a weekly meeting. And they're like, nah, Judge, we good. Huh? Like, that's not the world I'm in, right? And so this has been a learning curve for me too. And we are excited about it. The keynote speaker is XAVIER MCELRATH-BAY. I met him in 2015. I'm not going to spoil it because I want you to be there, but if you read his resume,
I got it. I was going to dabble a little bit in it.
You got to listen. Okay. Listen.
He has lived a life.
Not just lived a life, but he has been a change maker in so many jurisdictions across our country, and even in some territories as well, just to not just hear his story, but learn about his work. What we're hopeful of is that it will inspire people in the room, policymakers, community members, systems players, and stakeholders to think differently and think about other approaches and innovatively about how they serve children. We're going to have some showcasing of youth talent. I'm excited about that. I'm not going to spoil what's going on there. But we have, even with our vendors, young people are either serving as apprentices or they are the vendors for
I know you applied. You putting some pressure on me, so you said make sure you bring somebody young.
Got to.
So I asked Judge. I said, "What is young?" You said between 17 and 25. 25. Between 17, we call those the next ones up. Also, you've got something that's going to be a breakout session. What does a breakout session look like?
So we have 4 different tracks. We've got the mental health and wellness track. We've got the law and justice track. We've got the community-based solutions track. And we've got entrepreneurship and youth workforce development track. And all 4 of the workshops are going to be facilitated by local faculty to share about things in those respective areas. We're excited to have Metro Booming come on board to do the entrepreneurship and youth workforce development component of that. What they've been doing out there has been really, really phenomenal. I had an opportunity to go out and attend one of their most recent graduations. And as I was overhearing the young people talk as they were eating M-Bar wings, by the way, which were really good. The golden honey, I think it is. You want to try it? No, I'm not soliciting, just so you know. But those wings were really good. But one of the young men, he said, I'm really proud of myself because I went from trapping to trades. And I got to thinking, you know, what happens when we give young people opportunities and we invest time and resources into them and they can actually see themselves doing other things. And when you give them other options, what happens to them, right? And so to hear him say that, I reached out to Richard and I said, Richard, you know, you got to bring what Metro Boomin is doing to this space. And you got to talk about, you know, going from court to careers and going from trapping to trades. Mental health and wellness, Infusion Metro is doing that session. They provide non-traditional therapeutic services to young people, and so they're going to be talking about that. We have Strong Arms of Mississippi and Living with Purpose doing the community-based solutions to talk about some of the work that they're doing with court-involved youth and at-risk youth. We also have a team of lawyers who will be talking about legal issues and knowing your rights and how to address issues when you are pulled over, when you interface with law enforcement so that you could do so safely. If you are involved in court systems, you know, just basic things that young people need to know about the law. And that came about because young people, in their feedback to us as a court, they said, we wish, you know, we had somebody to tell us that this kind of stuff is an adult charge and this kind of stuff is a juvenile charge, because we didn't know.
Right.
And so we looked at that, and that's where this came about. And the guys who are doing that workshop are actually, if approved by JPS, will be doing our Justice League initiative with JPS, where they're going to go into the different schools and middle schools and high schools.
We have to have it.
And do a curriculum so that young people know what the laws are, and they know that just riding in that car can cost you to have a real charge. You know, just putting your hand on that gun.
Right.
And then your buddy pick up that same gun and go and shoot someone. Your fingerprints are on that gun. And so you're going to have to answer some questions. It's not just, oh, this gun is cool, I want to look at it. And so those are the things that they're going to be talking about. The breakout sessions are 30 minutes apiece. And so it's styled where everybody will be able to attend every breakout session. And then if you attend all of them, you might have a chance to win some door prizes. And I hear the door prizes are really, really good. The summit is sponsored by One Voice, by SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, Living with Purpose, and Families as Allies. And we're very appreciative to them. It is powered by the Hinds County Children's Coalition, which, as you know, is a group of community members and others who are deeply committed to working with the court.
And this experience is going to take place at the Jackson Convention Center, 105 East Pascagoula Street, Jackson, Mississippi, 39201. Once again, this is going to be Saturday, August the 2nd, 2025, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. There are 50 scannings available. And that was as of yesterday.
Counting down, right.
That was as of yesterday.
And the host is Macy Brown. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to meet her, Howard. Macy is just phenomenal. She's getting ready to go to law school in the fall. She'll be going to Mississippi College School of Law. And so you won't hear a whole lot of Judge Hicks.
Right.
You know.
Because Judge, you listed it. When I saw this special guest, I'm like, what? Really?
Yeah, this is not like our community convenings. This is totally separate. This is a Youth Justice Summit. I get to come up there, do my little thing, and get on out the way, you know, for the next ones up, as you say. But Macy is going to be hosting the summit, and she's also going to be the moderator for the panel. And so you can look forward to a really, really powerful discussion.
Also, I did a little trolling. She also supports the ACT. She has a program, ACT, All Subject Intensive, Hands-On Interactive Boot Camp. She's also, this is July 26th, as a matter of fact, from 9:30 to 2:30. Up in Farms, 2093 Lakeland Drive, Jackson, Mississippi. There is a small investment for this particular boot camp. Macy Brown, Jackson State University, summa cum laude. Incoming 1L Mississippi College School of Law, Truman Scholar, Marshall Motley Scholar, And I think she just accepted a ring, too, as well, if I'm allowed to say that. I couldn't really tell in the pictures. It was early this morning.
Uh-oh, I better go do some trolling,
Yeah,
too.
now I could be wrong, but I think she's about to become Mrs., if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
She is also one of our very own, a 2020 graduate of Murrah High School. She attended
1400.
She attended historic North Carolina A&T University, HBCU. Started as a columnist at the Jackson Free Press. She has published several pieces there and in other places about the need to change the Mississippi flag, state universities, and Mississippi as a whole to be more inviting to all its residents. She was also a TEDx Jackson Woman speaker, where she chronologized her time at the Mississippi Youth Media Project, learning that you don't have to agree with people to work with people. Judge, that's a big...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
She's been heavily involved in advocacy throughout the years, which even took her to the nation's capital to advocate for the need to change the state flag. When we speak about learning that you don't have to agree with people to work with people, frame that for me.
A guy wrote a book about that. I'm trying to remember the name of the book. But, you know, we have to get beyond one of the logical fallacies that, you know, only the people who agree with me are people I want to listen to.
Say that only the people
who agree with me are the people I want to listen to.
Okay.
We can learn things from everybody. And if you are in an echo chamber, you only hear your own voice, and that's all you hear, right? But we all have different life experiences. We all have different areas of expertise, and we all can learn from each other. I tell my daughter, you know, no one person knows everything, and so we can learn from everybody.
Okay.
Anybody can learn from somebody else because no two people are the same. We're not monolithic. And so what that means...
I was about to ask. Bring me to the light. Bring me to the light, Coach. Bring me to the light.
What that means is, you know, these two bottles of water, right? They're the same bottles of water. They taste the same. That would be monolithic. However, if this was alcohol and not water,
okay,
they look the same, but they're different.
Okay.
We're not monolithic, right?
Okay.
We may look the same, but we are very different people.
Very different.
Right? And so what that means is, you know, you have to learn how to navigate spaces where you may disagree with people. That's just life.
Right.
That's just life. You know, you have to be able to navigate those spaces because that's where you grow. If you don't have tension, you don't grow.
Look out. If you don't have adversity, you're not growing. If we don't fall...
Well, not just adversity, because, right, sometimes adversity can have a negative connotation.
Okay.
I don't want to call it adversity.
Okay.
But even a plant is going to struggle through soil to come to the light, right?
To come to the light.
And so there has to be some tension there, right? And even going to the gym scenario, in order to build that muscle, you got to tear it down.
Right.
In order to tear it down, you got to lift heavy. If you're not lifting heavy, you're not going to tear the muscle fibers. You're not going to build it up. And so in order to grow, sometimes there has to be some tension.
Okay. Today I saw Mimi on the way to the studio, Visions Unlimited Studio, and it says that when two people meet, there are really 6 people being met. The person who I perceive me to be, the person that you perceive me to be, and the person that we don't even know exists.
Ooh.
And that's coming from, and I said, wow, I've never looked at it like that.
Neither have I.
who I think I am.
Who I'm projecting onto you.
And who I don't even know that I am. No, and who I actually am. That's who it is. I want to also give some acknowledgement to Mr. Bay. I'm not going to give his whole story away, but I want to share that he serves as executive director of the Campaign for the Fair Sentencing of Youth. What is that, Judge? The campaign, he's director of the Campaign for the Fair Sentencing of Youth. What does that look like?
So that organization, they go across the country meeting with legislative bodies to advocate that the death penalty for juveniles be removed from those states' constitution or their laws. And they go state to state to do that work.
Okay. And he is also the co-founder of the Incarcerated Children's Advocacy Network. You know exactly what is that?
ICANN is a network of individuals who are largely formerly incarcerated. They were incarcerated as young people, as adult offenders, and it operates as a network of support, kind of a peer network for them.
Okay.
But to advocate for non-life sentences for young people as well. Xavier, to not give too much of his story, but the story goes, you know, he was the son of a mother who was a victim of domestic violence, mental illness. He joined a gang to find belonging, protection, and support. In joining that gang, he was responsible for the death of another child. He was in and out of jail as a very young person. He was shot by one of his best friends on accident, and he was jailed for his own shooting. As a result of that, just gone through a whole lot. And when he got out of prison, he dedicated a large part of his advocacy work to the life and the family of the young person whose life he was responsible for taking. And he wanted to go across the country to advocate for better conditions for young people who are incarcerated. His position was that, you know, although they may have made a mistake, they're still children.
Right.
And that no child is born bad.
It says that at the age, this started, his journey, documented-wise, like I guess, started at the age of 13 after accumulating 19 arrests and 7 convictions. Xavier was arrested, charged with a gang-related murder, and sentenced to 25 years in prison. And we're going to leave it, I'm going to leave it at that. You guys have definitely got to come out and be impacted by this gentleman's journey, his adventure, and he's not finished. But not only that, be influenced by the work that he's doing so that we can take up, let's say, I'm going to make a light on this. Let's take up a candle. He's carrying the torch.
That's it.
But let's take up a candle and become more engaged and more informed about loving on our youth and our children and our communities. Judge, I've been working on taking out the word kid in my dialogue.
Why?
Because it groups, because I believe it's not giving them a platform that they're the next ones up, that they're the next scholars, that they're the future. Am I interpreting that incorrectly?
Why are we rushing them?
Ooh-wee.
Think about this.
Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee.
In what space do our children get to be children?
So why wouldn't I use the term children as opposed to kids?
You can use both.
Okay.
I don't think kids is a negative connotation.
Okay.
I don't think that for me, it doesn't mean, you know, immature more than the other.
Right.
But if you think about it, we spend a large portion of our young people's lives when they're children teaching them to assimilate to us and our needs as adults, right?
Look out. Wait. What does assimilate to my needs mean? Do what I say.
Come on now.
Wow.
Don't inconvenience life for me as an adult.
Okay.
Right? Don't bring me into your big world. You come into mine.
You're going to make me call my son this evening.
You should.
Okay, go ahead.
And so, you know, we spend a lot of time doing that, but in what space can kids just be kids, right? You think about it. And I like to people watch. And I look at a 4-year-old. They're not designed to be still and quiet. They're not. In order to learn the world, they got to touch stuff. They got to feel it. They got to see how it works and moves and all those things. If they don't do that, then they're not developing. They're not growing. Yes, it's more convenient for me for you to sit there, be quiet, don't touch anything. But that's about me.
That's about me. That's all about me.
It's all about me.
All about me.
And so what are we rushing them for?
Why?
Why not call them kids? Why not call them children? You know, I look at some of my young people on my delinquency docket who have been a part of things that, you know, you would not imagine. But when I see them, they hug me, and it's almost like they collapse in my arm. And they'll tell me, you really care about me, right? And I can tell you love me. And I'm like, boy, you've been in my courtroom twice. What you mean? But it's because of how I approach them and how I talk to them and how I spend time asking them things about them that matter. to them,
Okay.
right? What they're really saying is, you see me and you hear me. And so because you took the time to see me and hear me, that to me means love, right? We got to slow down. We got to slow down when it comes to our kids. Stop rushing them.
Well, you just made me pump my brakes.
Stop rushing them.
Because it is, yeah, you just made me pump my
And
brakes.
stop rushing young ladies, too. How you going to call a little girl fast and she don't even know anything about that? Who's fast here? Who has the carnal mind? You or the baby?
Right.
Right? Think about that.
Hinds County, let me just hold tight before I run into this. Let me think about that. Let our children and our kids be where they are when they are. Hinds County Children's Coalition presents the Youth Justice Summit. The Youth Justice Summit. Saturday, August the 2nd, 2025, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And judge starts promptly on time. Promptly on time. So don't show up at 9:15, 9 to 2 p.m. Keynote speaker is going to be XAVIER MCELRATH-BAY. MCELRATH-BAY. Host is going to be Miss Macy Brown.
Yes.
Our very own special guest, Honorable C. Hicks.
And I'm enjoying the special part.
When I saw that, I said, what?
All I have to do is just come in and do what I do and go sit down somewhere. Get out the way.
Get out the way. Power panels, breakout sessions, talent showcase, door prizes, and more. Free registration is required. Scanning is going quickly. Vendor slots still available? Have you already got all your vendors?
Yes, they do have some vendor slots available.
The experience is gonna occur at the Jackson Convention Center, 105 East Pascagoula Street, Jackson, Mississippi, 39201. And Judge doesn't put on events that aren't inclusive of all your attention. You have to participate. Actively. You have to be actively engaged. They will call on you. You will speak. You will share, but you will not be quiet. This is not, but you won't be intimidated.
Right.
You won't be belittled.
Absolutely.
And your voice is definitely a plus.
Well, not just a plus, but everybody's voice is heard.
It's heard.
You know, I'm a strong believer in, if we're going to convene community, we want to hear from everybody in the room. Right? You know, some people may have a takeover spirit. Some folks may be more observatory, I guess you could say, more analytical, more thoughtful.
Right.
But the way we do our convenings, you know, Howard, everybody comes in their own space, right? Everybody. And we want to hear from everybody. The good thing about it is we take all that stuff back and we incorporate it. And I hope you see it.
I'm seeing it. It's your programs are not only evolving, but they're mutating. Yes.
And so, you know, we are a responsive court in that way. And we want to make sure that we have full fidelity to community in those spaces to respond to the needs of our young people and their families. But you're absolutely going to engage. And
you will meet at least one person that will alter the trajectory of your life.
Absolutely.
This is what networking and community and being in a safe space looks like. If you tell your children you love them twice a day, they will have heard I love you approximately 13,140 times by the time they graduate from high school. That's something. That's from Cheryl Donnelly. Okay, this I want you to kind of give me a little insight. Anything else on the Youth Summit?
Let's
see. Youth Justice Summit. Anything else that the audience needs to know? What they will take?
Register.
What will they register?
Registration is free, but we do require everybody to be registered. And that's just really for logistics for the young people so they'll know, you know, how many people to plan for. But bring your young people. You know, we want to hear from everyone. We want to engage with everyone. And we want everybody to hear from our panel and hear from our keynote speaker and learn from our faculty members who are going to be putting on these programs or putting on the keynote, not keynote, but the breakout sessions. The takeaway, think differently about how we engage young people and go and create something. If there's a gap, fill it in.
Fill it. No blaming, no shaming.
That's it. Fill it.
Fill it. For a child. Now, when you look out, because you never sit down, you're moving around. You're all over the place. I'm working on getting a little invite. I mean, not invite, but a little interview, a little conversation for the Community Strong folks. You're looking all over the place. Hold on, Howard. You come right back. You go over here. I'll be right back. Come on back. I'm following around with the phone and the mic. When you look out across the room, in this particular what is the convention center isn't a room. How would I label it?
It's a ballroom.
It's a ballroom. What do you see as being successful? When you look out across the room, you see all these different faces, these different colors, these different ages. What does success look like to you in that moment?
An aha.
And what's an aha?
One person in that room saying,
oh.
Okay.
There's a bunch of that going, yeah.
Right? One lawmaker in that room going, ooh, I didn't think about that. Right? One service provider in that room saying, we might need to rethink that.
Wow.
That's what success will look like. One young person in the room saying, I can be that. Right?
Okay. My other question is, what ages are you, when you look out across that room, what ages do you see?
You already know. We intergenerational, baby. Intergenerational.
We got arm babies.
Everybody.
And we got folks on walkers.
Everybody.
Okay.
Because everybody is invested in the future of our young people in Hinds County. So we got grandmamas there. We're going to have little bitty babies there. We're going to have elected officials there. Let me say this for my elected official colleagues out there.
Okay.
I don't do no big I, little you. I don't do no us versus them.
No, you don't play. Not with your babies.
Everybody
right.
is the same. So we're not doing no special treatment, no special seating. If you come into this space, we're coming here because we all got the same heart for wanting to see some change. And so with that, that's just my disclaimer. We're coming into the space to engage, to learn, to work on how we can empower young people, how we can develop promising practices, and maybe look at policies to do less harm.
And be a better version of ourselves when we leave.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to let you, hold on. We're winding down.
I'm scared.
We're about to land the plane.
This couch is comfortable, though. You just were all in my stuff.
I'm going to tell you something. I had to get up real early. And you know what was funny about it, Judge/coach? I clipped. And then I scrolled to the next one. I was like, I clipped. And by the time I realized I had clipped about 17, and I had to stop. I said, look, you will spend the whole morning here clipping. So please, share with us.
All right. So for a child who is exaggerating injuries, they may feel that they need more nurturing. A child who is overdramatic may feel that they are overlooked in the family. A child who puts themselves first might feel that they are only important if they are first. When children seem to fish for praise or they lie about their abilities, it could mean that they have low self-esteem. A child who is hurting siblings or constantly doing something to upset you might be getting bullied, have a new sibling or something else because they feel bad and it is coming out to make others feel bad too. Children don't enjoy attention-seeking behavior. They do it because they need help, and the only way they get it is with your attention. What this really means is all behavior is communication. Period. All behavior is communication. And when we look at what's happening, we have to stop and ask, why is this happening? Right? Why is this child doing these things? And it doesn't stop at toddler age. I've had some of my children in court who have said to me, well, Judge, my mama only show up if I do something bad. That's how I get her attention. Like, I feel love because she come to court because now she concerned about me. So I engage in these things because that's the way I get my mama's attention. And these are 16-year-olds, right? All behavior is communication. And so instead of focusing necessarily on the behavior, ask, what is this communicating? What is the need that's being communicated through this behavior?
Just three, Judge. I got to get it. I want to get it from you first.
Oh my goodness!
All right, these are short, you guys. These are short.
If you don't listen eagerly to the little stuff when they're little, they won't tell you the big stuff when they're big, because to them it has always been big stuff. This is, one of those things where you got to go into their world, right? It's a big deal to them.
Right.
It may not be a big deal to us, and so we're thinking, it's just a toy. Yes, the head is broken off of it. So what? I buy you another one. But that child may have a connection to that toy.
Right.
Right? They've named that toy. They've talked to that toy. That toy has gone on, imaginary adventures with them. It's not like just give me a new toy.
Right. That toy's fought battles with me.
And so you might have a sports car and you wreck your sports car. And it might be a classic.
Right.
If I come and say, oh, well, I get you another car, it's not a big deal. Yeah, but I spent hours, thousands of hours driving this one on Saturdays and Sundays.
I never looked at it like that.
I waxed this one, right?
Right.
I went and found custom mats for this one.
Right.
And so, yes, I'm going to cry about this one. I don't care that you're going to give me another one. And so what it means is we have to come into their world. And if we're not coming into their world now, when we really need to come into their world, we don't have that connection. And if we don't have that connection, they're not going to share. If you want to raise patient children, stop shouting at them when they are taking a little bit longer. That's preaching to myself on that one too. If you want to raise grateful children, don't forget to say please and thank you. I remember when my daughter was about 4 or 5 years old, she would always say thank you. She was very polite. And they would say, oh, how do you make your daughter?
How do you make your daughter?
How do you make your daughter do that? And I'm looking like, what do you mean, make her? She's always so polite, and oh, she always is this and that. And I'm thinking, because I tell her thank you when she brings me something. I say, excuse me. I say, I'm sorry when I make a mistake or when I might hurt her feelings. And so she learns to communicate because she's mirroring me, right? I'm her first teacher. As her parent, I'm her first teacher. And so that's what that looks like. If you want to raise grateful children, you have to show them what gratitude looks like.
True.
You have to model that for them. If you want to raise empathetic children, stop telling them not to cry because it's not a big deal. I have to empathize with you. I have to name, okay, I know that you're sad. I understand you may be upset, but we can't respond in this way. Very different from stop that crying. I'm going to give you something to cry about, right? That's what we used to be told.
That's what I grew up on.
That's what we grew up on, right?
Right.
And I ain't saying it's right or wrong.
Right.
But
2025.
When I'm now not caring about how you feel about something, I lack the empathy. It's because I didn't have that basis, right? If you want your children to trust you, don't make fun of them when they share their opinions. That's a big one.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. Oftentimes we, maybe unintentionally, we become our children's first bully. Right?
We become our children's first bully.
Unintentionally. We can become our children's first bully. And you want your children to trust you. You want them to bring the things to you. You want them to run to you when you have problems. Right? But they have to see you as a partner in problem solving and not somebody who's going to tease them for failing.
You see the face I made?
You're going to call your son when you leave him.
You're going deep into me. All right.
But it's a no judgment zone, right?
Right.
There is no handbook.
There isn't.
There is no handbook. And to the extent that we bring ourselves, we think we know, to spaces.
Right.
We bring the child in us to the parenting that we provide, right? And so, you have to be kind to yourself. You have to be forgiving to yourself, and you have to give yourself a lot of grace. I'm not perfect by any means. I've had the benefit of, learning things, and I've had the benefit of being able to implement things that I've learned with my own child, but I've made mistakes. And I make sure that I explain, hey, I messed up.
Right.
And my child is very articulate.
Wow.
Because she has seen that model, not just with myself, but my husband is the same way. You know, we would sit down and say, okay, look, I messed up. Here we are. You know, this is what happened. This is what I was thinking at that time. This is what I could have done differently. And with her, she's in that preteen mode now.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she feels that she's kind of, okay, my attitude was a little too much, she'll come back. I'm sorry about the way I talked to you earlier. I didn't mean anything by my tone. I was doing XYZ, or I thought this, or I assumed you were going to XYZ.
Right.
And I say, hey, I appreciate your apology. I never say, oh, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Because it may have been a big deal. It may have hurt my feelings.
Oh, I like the way you interpret.
You know, it may have hurt my feelings.
Right.
And so I don't want to brush it off and say, oh, well, no. I say, you know, I appreciate your apology. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
And we'll go from there. One day your child will sit across from someone and explain to them what it was like to be raised by you. Make sure it's a story worth telling. Read it again. You know,
I'm breathless.
you know, my mother passed away in 2020. And even right now, that sting of her passing is so fresh for me because my mother represented so much love, right? That my grief for her is a daily, hourly, minute-by-minute thing.
Mm.
My mother represents to me all things love, right? And so when I talk about my mama, it's because of what happened and how she raised me to explain the type of woman she was. And I say is for me because who she is who I'm trying to emulate.
Right.
And I try to keep her legacy alive through how I do things as a mother and as a woman. But I never hold a candle to my mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
But saying that to say, you know, I want my child to be able to sit across from anybody and as she reflects about her mother, that she has that same feeling that I have about my mother, right? And that's really should be the goal, right? We want our children to have the values that we instill in them. We want them to be able to not just survive without us, but we want them to thrive. We want them to go further than we've gone. You know, I want my daughter to do more than what I've been able to accomplish or what I will be able to accomplish in life. And if I'm not there to help her when that time comes, I want her to be able to say, you know, my mom, my dad, they were not a place or a space I had to heal from, but a place or a space that I'm very safe and comfortable in.
Community connections conversation.
Don't be shutting down on me.
Community conversation. Community connections conversation. This lady done poured into my spirit tonight. I'm in here all choked up and choked out. Please, if you haven't registered for the Youth Justice Summit, Judge don't do boring events. No. She doesn't. Get you some rest the night before.
Yes.
Come ready to be poured into.
At 9 a.m. now.
At 9 a.m. No, 8:30, because you got to get set up and get set in. There's no place in the room to hide. I'm getting all choked up. I got to call my son. Yeah. Man, call your children tonight and tell them you love them. Yeah. I'm just going to keep it simple. I love you. Yeah. And get off the phone.
And sometimes you might have to say, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You know what, Judge? I'm going to throw that. I'm going to put a little of that. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of that on there. Okay. All right. So don't forget now, you need to go ahead and register. I don't know if Judge and them are going to open up any more seats.
Yeah, no.
Okay. She doesn't like to turn, I don't know if we turn people away, but.
We don't turn people away, but we want to make sure we have, for planning purposes, enough food. We want to make sure that everybody.
Did you say food?
Yes,
because you don't play when y'all serve. I was gonna throw that out there, but I didn't know. It ain't my place to say. You know.
Well, you missed us the last time. We had a really good meal.
Yes, ma'am.
We will provide lunch. Will be provided. We're having a networking lunch along with the talent showcase. So.
Okay. All right, and they're going to be having power panels, breakout sessions, talent showcase, door prizes, and more. Got a serious keynote speaker.
Absolutely.
He's just not a book guy. He's been there. He's been in there, and doesn't take things for granted, because if he had, he could have walked away. He could be anywhere in the world doing things, but he's putting a lot of work in for the youth.
Across the country.
Across the country. Also, we got our very own host, Miss Macy Brown. This is a great opportunity to come out and network. It really is. You never know where people will be, when they're going to be. So we want to take advantage of this. This experience is going to take place on Saturday, August the 2nd. You got more than enough time to plan, but you need to go ahead and scan the barcode. Where can they find the barcode? I know you can find it on Community Strong for Jackson MS. Where can they find it on your side?
It
Judge?
should be out there. Local media networks have been sharing it on social media. The coalition should have it shared out there on Facebook, Hinds County Children's Coalition. I've got it shared on my page. Macy has it shared on her page. If they would like to get more information, or if they would like a direct link, they can just send an email to Hinds County Children's Coalition, all spelled out, at gmail.com.
Okay. So there's no reason, there's no excuses. Don't miss this particular opportunity. I know there's a lot that's going to be going on the 2nd. Just include this on your things to do.
And before you go to Summer Breeze.
And before you go to Summer Breeze.
Okay. To the cues.
To the
Before they go to Summer Breeze, come and pour into these young people.
Pour into them. There's no sense in sitting at the house on the couch, pointing your finger and blaming and hollering, "I told you so. Look at this on the news." Yeah. I'm as much the problem as I am the solution.
Right.
Also want to give an acknowledgement to Michael Coleman. Wow. Also Judge Yimmy Kings. Carol Ann Elmore White listening in from Chattanooga. Joseph William Holly, Moving Southern Styles. That's Snow with no W, part of the producer for the theme song. Miss Ptolemy White, I call it the Fairy Godmother. Jackson Resource Center. And all others who have connected with us. Be sure to catch the recap on Community Strong Fort Jackson MS. You've had Honorable Judge C. Hicks right here on the couch with Mr. Hey. And Judge, I want to thank you. Whenever you see me out in the public, you see me before I see you. Judge sees you before you see yourself. So when we're out in public at these social events, Judge see you. She already told you she like watching people.
I do people watch.
And so, she walk up and tap me on the shoulder. I'm like, damn, I'm glad I'm behaving. You've been connected with Community Connections Conversation. Judge, anything else you'd like to say to our listening and viewing audience before we get up out of here?
Well, I just want to wish those who are preparing for the next school year much success, a safe return to school. We are seeing the climate right now, especially in Jackson. There's lots of coverage about fatalities that are happening and young people who are involved in serious criminal behavior. While those young people don't come before our court and are not served by the youth court, it pains me to see a young person's life being lost either by way of being charged with murder or being murdered or being a victim of gun violence and things like that. And so, I hope that we can find a space of healing and hope in our community, that we can see compassion and community accountability go hand in hand, and that we can turn to our children and provide them with the resources and supports to stand in the gap so that we can kind of get a hold on this as a community. I really strongly believe that crime prevention is a community responsibility in as much as it is a system response. Once these young people or any people are in front of the court system, it's almost too late, except for youth court, right?
Right.
But judges don't fight crime. My colleagues, they're not in the business of fighting crime. Law enforcement is in the business of responding or reacting when a crime has occurred. But the criminal prevention element rests in community and in our neighborhoods. And so it's what we do in our schools. It's what we do in our churches. It's what we do in our communities. That's where true crime prevention works.
The challenge has been issued. The directions have been given. Each one is a superhero wherever your feet are planted. God didn't call you to be liked. He called you to be light, Light. And light, by its very nature, makes darkness uncomfortable.
That's it.
So we're not in the game to be liked. We're in the game to be the light.
Do the work.
And when he wakes us up tomorrow, that means you are being favored. Now it's time to serve.
Mm-hmm.
Community, connections, conversation. Thank you all so much for connecting. We'll have Grant Me Justice, which is going to be it's a total flip from what Judge is speaking on, but it's all in the same vessel.
And it's not a total flip, right? You're talking about mothers of children who have been victims of gun violence, right? You know, the wisdom says, the experience of wisdom says that we're supposed to go before our children. And so it's the unnatural order when you have to bury your child. You know, if we can put interventions in place to prevent those types of things, then people like Felicia and the women that she serves, the parents she serves, you know, they wouldn't have to bury their children. And so it all is connected.
It's all connected. And she's even got a father's a program as well.
That's why I said parents.
Yeah, parents. So, hey, you guys connect with us on Sunday at 10:30. I want to thank Judge, as always, for taking time out of her busy 25 hours, 8 days a week schedule. Woo! You guys have a great evening. Know that you're superheroes wherever your feet are planted. And we'd like to shout this out before we get up out of here. I don't know what happened to my little theme song. Well, you guys play the theme song in your head. It's coming. It is
and
coming.
I like it. It's good.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. Why is it not playing?
There you go.
There we go. Byron Broomfield, Moving Southern Style. Snow with no W of Mississippi. You all have a great evening and know that you are the superheroes wherever your feet are planted. Oh, I gotta hit Judge with this, and she may have already heard this. Every now and then someone comes along and shows us who we are and what we might become. It's a matter of being in the right place at the right time, but it does not happen to everyone. Judge, thank you so much for being our everyone.
Oh, thank you.
All right. You guys have a great night.
Call you.